Are you tired of the same old sports media? Are you tired of hot takes, arguments, and questions that are just completely off base?
Luckily, we have something for you. Touchdowns and tangents. Of the people, for the people, by people, who care about the culture and all its concise commentary.
What's up, good people?
I'm not allowed to, yeah.
I think my mic is on. There we go. What's up, good people? Live from Hawthorne, California. It's Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL takes, topical tangents, concise commentary for the culture. I'm PD Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Barry.
Wow, he didn't go with the full name. That's weird. And then, of course, we have our amazing producer, Nikki, in the house.
Patty.
With her mic not ready.
She really didn't talk to the mic. She just said howdy.
Wow.
I say howdy every week.
Where's the mic?
I guess she's used to just sounding ambient now.
And y'all talked about me.
She's just the ambient fucking Morgan Freeman voice on the podcast.
Dear God, is that you? It's me, Morgan. Whatever the name of that book was.
Anyways, it's fucking week one. Finally. Wrong horn. Football's here. Thursday night football, in case you missed it. Came down to the wire. Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs. 21-20. The Lions had a chance to secure the game on 4th and 1.5. Secured it. Jared Goff did a couple knees, and the rest was history. Kenny's guy, Sky Moore, had a whole 0.4 points in fantasy, so shout out to him.
Excellent blocking throughout the game. Horrible route combinations on what the hell they were doing.
But yeah, man.
Travis Kelce's like, see, this is why I get all the catches.
I just think it's crazy because it's so rare that, the teams, the media darling of the offseason, really comes out and just instantly delivers on expectations. And I feel like Detroit did that, beating the defending Super Bowl champions on the road. That's a huge win for them and a huge start for them.
Were the Lions really the media darlings?
Of this year, yeah, for sure, 100%.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, especially after the draft. Yeah, people have been hyping them up. Dan Campbell. I mean, even last year, they were kind of like the media's underdog champion story. The media was rooting for them.
You can tell the culture's definitely changed.
And now this year, it felt like they were kind of the media's surprise team or the team that's going to go from last to first type of situation, even though they weren't in last year. So, anyways, I mean, I'm happy for Jared Goff. I'm happy for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Happy for Jamar Gibbs. I should have drafted him.
Well, it's just crazy that they played Montgomery over him, but that's some line stuff. I mean, Montgomery, he made some plays too. I mean, they're good mix, I guess.
I just want to point out,
but Gibbs had that big run, and then he could have kept going if he didn't, think he was in college still and couldn't get back up.
Did he trip over his feet or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
I just want to point out, Jared Goff has never lost to Patrick Mahomes in his career.
Shout out to Kenny for putting that on wax.
2-0. Too bad it didn't make the game notes this week. Somebody changed it.
Hutchinson continued his big rookie season.
Hutchinson is looking like him.
Chiefs couldn't block him. And
he's really gotten really good in coverage. Surprisingly, Clay Matthews level good in coverage.
I think it's hard because
Jamar Taylor fighting for his life.
Because we've seen the Chiefs start off slow before and still kind of turn it around and be the Chiefs. But I feel I don't know if that's fair to expect from them this year, just because over the last 3 years, they've really had an overturn on that defense outside of Chris Jones, who's also looking for a raise. And I think he should get one because of that. But they've also had turnover on the offensive line. They've had turnover in the secondary. Their running back is a hodgepodge of spaghetti that they're throwing at walls and trying to figure out who sticks.
The receivers are pretty much
the same thing.
Just running routes and
it's pretty much just Mahomes, Chris Jones, and some other talented players here and there, but I feel like they don't.
Pacheco got hurt though.
They don't have the same cachet and continuity as in years past. So I don't really know. I mean, I think as long as they have Mahomes, you should still expect them to be the best team in the West, the AFC West.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't.
But
I
think the
them in
gap.
the Super Bowl this year.
But I think the gap is definitely not as wide. Well, the thing with that division is we don't know what the fuck the Broncos or Raiders are going to be. They could be complete hot garbage trash.
The Raiders are going to be hot garbage trash.
Or they could be fucking 9-7.
That's still hot garbage trash.
Or 10-7. I'm sorry. And then with the Chargers, I mean, we've been saying they're going to get over for the past 4 years, and they haven't gotten over. So who knows with them? Can't just give them any paper titles because they haven't earned that, and they other than just continuing to disappoint every single year. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not hitting the full panic button with the Chiefs because obviously it's the first game, but also I don't think you can give them a full-on pass.
They got out-toughed.
Exactly. The Lions put up a blueprint on how to beat them and executed it.
And honestly, Jamar Taylor looking like a huge free agent bust. That boy was Jawan Taylor. Well, he didn't get a W tonight, so I'm taking the W out of his name. He's John Taylor.
You said Jamar.
Whatever. He turned the W upside down. He got everything but a W tonight. He got an L, he got an M, he got an O, he got an N, he got a P. Multiple penalties, actually.
All right, Kenny.
Fall started like every play.
So while we're on the topic of week one, any bold predictions you want to make either for this week or the season or anything?
Oh, my Super Bowl prediction is...
wow, you're making a Super Bowl prediction, huh?
Yeah, Ravens beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl 38-35.
You're putting the Ravens in the Super Bowl?
Yes, it's time.
Who's their pass rush?
They got a multitude of pass rushers.
Who's their corners?
Humphreys, who's
been hurt?
Yeah, but he's going to come back in a couple weeks.
I guess, man. I'd be happy for Lamar, but that's a pretty bold pick there.
Adele about to put the team on his back or what?
Well, they also have a tough division. I mean, Cleveland's not going to be an easy out. Cincinnati and Burrow are still in the division.
Burrow got paid, too.
And then the Steelers are going to be better. I mean, I don't think they'll be a playoff team, but they were a solid team last year, and I think they'll be slightly better.
You trust Kenny Pickett?
No, but I think they'll be slightly better than last year, and last year they were already kind of a solid team.
I mean, they played a Ravens team that was
They have great coaching.
I mean, they always have great coaching, but they played a Ravens team that was mad injured, that had, Huntley IQB, and all the receivers are hurt. It's not like, look at their wins towards the end of the season. And even though they have a great pass rusher in TJ Watt, who should have been a Raider, but, that's a whole other issue. Their overall defense isn't that great. Yeah, they got two pass rushers.
Dog, John Simpson is on the Ravens. Starting.
At guard?
Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ.
You want to walk that Super Bowl prediction back in?
Nah, Todd Monken got something cooking. They got Zay Flowers. They actually have, capable receivers. They just need an offense that will let Lamar
They do have capable receivers.
And you have their defense can travel.
Their line is good.
Their defense can travel. That's what I'm like. If Lamar stays healthy,
I mean, they have a great secondary. They just one of those pass rushers has to really pull through.
A Jobo. And you got to remember, they got guys in the draft. You got that center, Tyler.
I'm not saying their pass rushers are hot garbage. I'm just saying they need to pull through and really have a breakout season.
I think they'll do that. They're John Harbaugh coach team.
We'll see.
So, and by the way, no rookie has ever beaten. Actually, no, the Texans are 0-6 all time in Baltimore. And rookie QBs are 7-21 against John Harbaugh. So, even though the Texans looks like have a really great foundational defense, and the Ravens historically win in preseason, I'm not discounting a Super Bowl winning coach getting his team back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and he's under the Andy Reid coaching tree, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as a Super Bowl, I think it's too early for me to really make a pick, but I would still put the Bengals and Chiefs at the top of the pecking order. I mean, I think the Bengals their offensive line should get better from last year. Then again, I also said that last year. I think their secondary probably made some lateral moves or took some steps back. So I think that could hurt them. But
they lost Jesse Bates. That's huge.
As long as they have Joe Burrow, I mean, I think they've got a really great chance. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, I think the Jaguars have a chance to kind of run away with the South. I already talked about the North and the West. Those are both going to be tough. And the East is going to be tough with the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Patriots should just tank for Caleb and call it a day.
The Patriots are too good to tank.
Yeah, the Patriots
Sadly.
Patriots are slightly too good for that.
Sadly.
Speaking to your mic.
Putting in a hodgepodge of a roster together.
No, like, their defense is too good to, like, only win 2 games. You're gonna have to have at least. You're gonna have to have 2 wins to get the top pick. Like you can't like have 5 wins and think you're gonna get this first overall pick. You got to be like a 2-win team, and I don't think the Patriots are a 2-win team.
I mean, moving to the NFC, it's kind of like a last man standing in a fucking regional wrestling ring. Like
It's a Royal Rumble to the death.
Like, I mean, the South is hot trash. Like, one of those teams has to win, and Derek Carr is the best quarterback in that division, which is saying a lot. The North, I mean,
Saints got the best
we saw a
defense.
big outing from the Lions, but the Bears, a lot of people are expecting Justin Fields to take a big jump this year because he has more weapons than he ever has. But that defense and offensive line are still kind of in transition. The Packers, we don't really know officially yet what we have in Jordan Love, but so far the reviews have been solid. Vikings, a lot of people think they're going to take a step back. But it's hard when you have the best receiver in the game and you also have other offensive weapons around him.
The interior offensive line is garbage, though, for the Vikings.
Yeah, for sure.
Except Ezra Cleveland.
The West, I mean, I think that clearly comes down to the Seahawks and the Niners. I mean, I think they're both pretty good. I think the Seahawks are going to be better than last year, bringing back Bobby Wagner and getting Jamal Adams back at some point.
I had the Seahawks making the NFC title game.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think they do. I mean, they got an all-pro corner.
Niners are going to be great again, unless they get injuries like
The
2
Niners
years ago.
are done for.
Or their quarterback is just totally regresses.
Purdy going to get popped, and everybody going to realize Sam Darnold is their starting quarterback, and then you're really
So I guess the East is really the best division because you got Dallas,
teams.
which we know is Dallas. They'll be good, but they'll probably lose in the playoffs. The Giants got better than last year. They were a playoff team, so I couldn't expect that again from them.
Their offensive line is set, too.
The Eagles were a Super Bowl team. I mean, I think they got better in some ways, but they also got worse in other ways. So I think they're pretty much even.
Their linebacking core doesn't scare anybody.
Yeah. So
That's why I have the Ravens, if they make it to the Super Bowl, over the Eagles. Because Andrews would feast on that. Unless you put Keely Ringo on him, which I don't think. I'm still taking Mark Andrews. And not just because he went to Oklahoma. And he's the last tight end in Oklahoma that, Lincoln Riley actually used. Because Lincoln Riley doesn't use his tight ends.
yeah, I don't really.
I mean, that officer's already kind of bled into the offense at that point. But.
So yeah, I really don't have a Super Bowl pick because I could tell you why every team is not going to win the Super Bowl. I feel like I feel like I need to see a couple weeks and then I'll be able to.
I mean, you could play the lotto.
say.
You could play the lotto tomorrow. That don't mean you're gonna win it, but you still do it.
No, I don't play the lotto. It's not a good analogy. A lot of people don't play the lotto.
A lot of people do though.
There's a lot of people who play a lot, and there's a lot of people who don't play at all.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
So it's like,
People go to Bluebird Liquor. That's the spot.
but there's actually like a study. If you actually took that money and invested it, it would actually make you a lot more money than the 1 in 1 million chance you have of winning the $1 million. But
by the way,
people just feel helpless, so they feel like they're doing something, spending those couple bucks.
if you won the lotto, would you quit your job?
Yes.
I mean, why wouldn't I?
I don't know if I would.
I probably would.
I think if I won the lotto, you would never know it. Unless I told you.
It also depends on how much we're talking about. Like, are we talking about
Let's
10
say,
billion or are we talking about 10 million?
well, they're gonna fuck you on 60% of those taxes.
Well, regardless, it doesn't matter how much it is. You're gonna get fucked on that regardless.
So it's like, let's say you get $50 million. Like, there wasn't like a $300 million pot at one point.
There's been $1 billion plots.
Let's say there's a $1 billion pot. You're not getting the $1 billion.
Of course not.
You're getting
you get 60.
You might get 60. You might get $600 million. Maybe.
You'll get $600 million.
A billion? Yeah.
So let's say you get the $600 million. If you just I would buy the city of Lawndale and Hawthorne. I would just buy all this shit.
Do what?
Just.
I don't think you can buy a city like that.
Like I would. Lawndale's uninhabited.
What?
I
Yes,
don't even think you could buy half of a
I
California.
don't think you can buy a city, Kenny.
Tell these politicians that.
You can buy property within the city.
You can buy influence on a city, but you can't buy a city.
Yeah, you can LeBron it.
LeBron it. I don't know. I would just buy like some shit. I would just buy like a whole block, maybe some abandoned houses and flip them.
I would not tell a soul, invest in it, and set my kids up.
Yeah, I would just have like
Fuck all that.
this. You can't spend all that money in one lifetime. You could.
I don't need to spend it all. I'll fucking donate it to charity when I die. Like,
This motherfucker.
I'll do something with it. I'm not giving it to my punk ass kids.
Oh,
Y'all get your own fortune.
That's generational trauma, and that's
Y'all get your
you didn't
own
earn that
fortune.
money. You didn't
Get
earn
your
that
own
money.
fortune.
You didn't earn that money.
Exactly, but I'll still
That's
spend it.
So you're not gonna pass
And
it along to
actually,
your bloodline.
if you win the lottery, you did earn the money. You bought the
paid
lottery
for a
ticket.
ticket and got lucky.
That's still earning.
That's not like you won $1,000 in a crap game.
That's still earning the fucking money. And it's not just, I bought one ticket and I won. It's all the fucking hundreds of tickets you bought the hundreds of
let's
weeks
say some
before
people
that.
buy a ticket and they just get lucky. Let's say you buy a ticket.
That rarely happens, bro.
Hey,
Most
man,
of the people who
a
win
lot
the
of shit
lottery,
rarely happens. Buy a lot of
most of the
shit.
people
You know what? I
who
get your
win the
logic.
lottery buy tickets all the fucking time.
Okay, let's say $100 a month in lottery tickets. Is that fair?
Bro, that's $1,200 a year.
Yeah.
How much money?
That's $12,000 in 10 years.
Yeah.
Shit.
Is that about the average for a lottery ticket? For someone who's always buying
Probably.
lottery tickets?
Yeah,
As I said,
probably.
so I just gave a rough estimate. So
Probably,
you're telling me you spent all, okay. So you do that, you win $600 million, you have kids, you're giving them zero money?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to spend money on my kids. I'm not going to give it to them.
You're going to put money in a trust for them?
No, not that money.
Allegedly, I've heard like if you don't sign the back of the ticket, you can put it in a trust. But I'm like, ain't nobody got fucking time for that. Like, I'm not trying to skirt taxes.
Well, you would put it in a trust so that they don't pay taxes when they inherit it.
Yeah.
That's what a trust is.
Yeah, but I'm saying some people are like,
But I'm not going to give it to them. So why would I put it in a trust? I could put it in a trust to give it to a corporation or a nonprofit, so they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Some people turn their families
Or
and
report
shit
it.
into corporations, and they go through that whole ordeal. You obviously would.
I don't think you know what you're talking about, Kenny.
No, like these fucking dumbass financial versions are like, well, if you just start an S corp or blah blah blah, or turn your family to whatever, you could fucking.
Again, I don't think you know what you're talking about, Kenny.
I do. I'm just telling.
I don't think you know what
people
you're
do
talking
shit
about.
like that. Whatever. Bottom line.
How do you
is,
turn a family into an escort?
Huh?
You would have people working for your family. I don't know. People
How
do all
would you
types of
turn?
weird
How
shit.
would you turn your family into an escort?
I'm
Kenny?
not saying I would do it.
Talking about? What do you mean by escort?
I'm saying people
An
like
escort is a
Escort, papa? With a P?
An S corp is a
okay.
corporation.
Okay, no, I got you.
But it's a level of a corporation that allows you to take funding.
With a T.
And you would just hide the money by like having your fucking family members as your employees or whatever. That's a lot of fucking work that just everybody says that shit on the internet, but it's like you're not really going to do that. That's my thing.
I mean, you could. It's not that hard to set up a corporation. Anybody can set up a corporation about anything.
But
I'm just saying, how would you turn a family into that? That doesn't even make sense.
I'm saying you would put your family onto that, and like they would be a part of the trust or whatever.
But those are two different things.
I know, but people.
I don't think you know, Kenny. I don't think you know what you're talking about right now, bro.
I'm just saying people do shit like that, and if I won that much money, I'm not going through all the trouble of starting an S corp. I'll do a trust.
That's not
but all that other shit.
That's
I'm
not a
doing
lot of effort.
Well, have you done it?
I mean, I could. It's just a
but
couple
you haven't
of paperwork,
done it, right? But you haven't.
Or it's $100 to legal Zoom. It's not that hard.
I'm not arguing the difficulty. I'm saying you're really not going to do it.
I mean, I could if I wanted to.
I mean, we could all do it.
I wouldn't.
I can go get a pilot's license if I want to. Am I going to?
I wouldn't spend that money like a business. I would put that money into other different businesses, but I'm not trying to start an investment fund, or I'm not trying to start a show company. Like, I'm not trying to start anything where anybody can kind of get a hold of that. Like, I would want to just keep it within my person so that when I die, it goes with me, or it goes to whatever my wishes are, versus an S corp. You kind of like loop the whole corporation side into it, and whoever has stake in the corporation kind of has stake to the money.
Hypothetically, people in your family.
So why are we arguing?
No, I wouldn't put them into that.
That's my point. If you would, let's say somebody has a business and then there's a whole structure, that's one thing. But if you win a bunch of money and you want to start that same structure, you just plug in people in your family in those spots. That money might be gone in like 2-3 in a generation.
I mean, if anything, I would start up a non-profit. If I was going to go that way, I would start up a non-profit and use the money like a non-profit. Yeah, like a philanthropist, like a non-profit, and then fill up the VP of my fucking philanthropy.
That's what I'm saying.
But I wouldn't do that with a corporation, because then they can just use that money to create whatever the fuck they want to create, and that's not what the money's for. The money's for fuck you, for me.
It's $600 million.
It's a fuck you. It's my fuck you money.
But if it's fuck you money and you're not going to leave it to your kids in a certain way,
I would donate it to fucking climate change.
You might as well just burn it if that's the... Like, what the fuck? That's a waste.
Okay. Why is that a fucking waste, Kenny?
Fam.
Bro, we have 11 years to correct the course of the environment before it's all the way over.
It's not going to happen. Just letting you know.
Exactly.
Well, oblivion's coming.
Okay. So what?
I can't wait, bro.
Why don't you just like buy... You could buy like a fucking... You could buy out a building and put a bunch of homeless at-risk kids in it.
I don't give a fuck about that. Blame Reagan. Don't blame me. That's not my responsibility.
Hey, at least you know who to blame.
I already fucking took my own fucking at-risk youth in. I'm not taking nobody else's at-risk youth in.
But you see how slippery of a slope that is? Like, you get all that money.
It's not a slippery slope.
But I'm saying...
I'm telling you exactly what I would do. I'm telling you exactly my boundaries.
And you feel... That's my point. That's the point I'm getting at.
You're the one opening it into a slippery slope by allowing all these other influences and ideas and things to come into the picture. Like, if you're fucking around with that much money, like, spend that money how you want to spend it. Invest it in the things you want to invest in. Like,
would you move?
Fuck all the other shit.
Would you move, or would you just be like, there's no point, I might as well stay where I'm at and just buy other properties? Like, I wouldn't buy no shit in another country. That's stupid to me.
That's because you've never even been to another country.
No, but why? I'm not there all the time, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on while I'm there.
You don't need to be there all the time.
But that's my point. If I can't go to the real estate,
that's the point of having a property in another country. Is you don't need to know what's going on all the time because you have money.
Let's say somebody gets murdered at a spot you own.
It doesn't matter. You have money.
Even if you have insurance,
it doesn't matter. You have money.
Shit, I don't know, man.
It doesn't matter.
I would rather own like shit that I could go to in my vicinity.
That's because you've never owned anything and you've never had that kind of money where you can own things and not have to worry about them.
I would travel for the fuck of it. I wouldn't want to own some shit in another country. I would just travel.
But that's how you travel is when
Everywhere.
you own shit in other countries and you can make money off of that and you always have somewhere to stay. Like,
Okay, I get that part. But like, I'm talking about motherfuckers who own some shit and they never visited. Like that's like
you don't need to when you have that much money.
Like China has all those abandoned fucking neighborhoods and shit with all that really nice housing that they don't even use. That almost seems like a waste to me. Like, why I say,
we have that in fucking Vegas. Have you seen how many Airbnbs are in Vegas?
You know, they get Airbnb the fuck out of here anyway. So, in more ways than one, which is.
I heard that Airbnb is going to cause a market crash soon.
We need you to talk into the mic.
I heard that Airbnb is going to cause a market crash soon.
See? But I like the voice of God element. Like, that works too. Like, you can keep doing that. Just every once in a while, just like.
Okay, here's the voice.
I don't know. For me, I would probably take that money and put it into some shit. I'd probably put like a third of it into some dumb shit, like a sports team.
Would you buy the Raiders?
Just to say that I have fucking clout, like just to have 1%.
Would you buy the Raiders?
And just have a fucking seat. Like, I would probably do that. $600 million's not buying you the Raiders.
Would you buy a piece of the Raiders? Is what I'm saying. Like, not some JG shit where you only get one chair in a fucking building.
Yeah, that's all you're getting for $600 million. The Raiders are worth.
You're only getting one seat. You're only getting season tickets for $600 million.
The Raiders are worth like fucking $4 billion.
Okay,
And you're gonna have to pay 3 times that to buy into it.
I heard Brady's stake wasn't even a billion, was it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like
Brady
you're not
got
going to get a
money.
large percentage for $600 million.
Brady got super PAC money. We just don't know yet. He went to Michigan.
You'd be lucky if you get 5% for $600 million.
Would you buy the WNBA?
You're not buying the WNBA for $600 million. I don't think you realize the $600 million is not that lot, bro. Not that much.
No,
bro.
it's not. But the WNBA also isn't worth $600 million fucking dollars. They lose money every year. So I'm saying, would you buy?
So you're telling me
the
fucking,
WNBA off the NBA?
So you're telling me how many 16 teams in the NBA, 14 teams?
I said WNBA.
And WNBA, you're telling me those teams aren't worth $10 million?
They're not making a profit individually. The Aces are worth a lot, but I'm pretty sure the Dallas Wings ain't as worth as much, and the league is not making any money.
Well, it all depends on the real estate.
But that's my point. Dallas is a fucking great place for real estate. But I'm saying, if you can
What I'm
buy
saying
the
is
WNBA,
it depends on if you own the stadium, if you own the practice facility, if you own the offices, if you own things like that. That's what makes the team worth the money. That's why the Raiders are worth so much money, because they own that stadium now. Even though they financed it, they own that asset. That's how they were able to jump from 20th to 5 in 10 years.
fine. Forget the entire WNBA. Would you buy one team?
No. Definitely not.
One what? WNBA team?
One WNBA.
I'm telling you, I just
Why?
told you.
What would be the point?
You said you would fuck off money on a sports team, so why not fuck off money on the
a
WNBA?
sports team
But
that
why
I care
sports
about.
team? Yeah.
So you wouldn't buy the Aces?
No, you
What are the
couldn't.
Aces?
You couldn't buy the Aces for $600 million, bro.
What's the Aces?
Mark Davis owns that team, so obviously that's a bad example.
The WNBA team.
But I'm saying you
Where,
could probably
Vegas?
yes,
Oh, okay.
they're defending champs,
Oh, that would make sense because Aces.
and you can't buy an XFL team.
For
You could buy
$600
You could buy the XFL
You
for
could buy
$600
an
million.
XFL
Are you
team
sure
for
about that?
You could buy the
I
XFL
would
for
bet
$600
everything
million.
you could buy
And keep the rock on. I don't know, man, because if you can't buy the WNBA for $600 million, you're gonna tell me you can afford the XFL? That's why.
Wait, hold
One
on.
XFL.
No, hold on.
Because it's two different leagues.
Hold on.
You said
Hold
you
on.
couldn't buy a team.
Hold on. Kenny.
You said you couldn't and wouldn't.
Kenny,
I'm listening.
Mr. XFL Barry. How much did the Dwayne The Rock Johnson pay for the XFL?
I forget.
He owns the XFL.
No, him and his ex-wife.
How much did he pay?
It wasn't probably more than $100 million.
He owns the XFL.
How much?
It wasn't over $200 million. I don't remember the
Ain't no
numbers.
way.
Give me a number.
150.
Yes.
Say 175.
So take that number.
No, actually,
So take that number.
75 million.
So take that number, the first number, take that number and divide it by 8. Your third number, divide that by 3. So yeah, you could buy the XFL with $600
The
million.
entire thing.
Wait, so how much?
And upkeep.
So yes, Kenny, the
Wait,
XFL
what's
is
the
worth
number?
less than the WNBA.
I'm
$24 million.
He
Damn.
bought the whole ass XFL
For $24 million.
He bought
Dwayne The Rock Johnson owns the XFL for $24
And
million.
his
him.
wife.
No, his ex-wife.
How did I not know this? Why did I not know he owned it?
How did you? Where were you been?
I don't
Where
know,
have you
dude.
been?
Where have I been living? I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I've covered the XFL. We've talked about it.
I guess I just don't remember.
Are you ready for this?
I'll
now?
bring back the LA Wildcats
ready
for
for this
fucking
now?
sure. I'm bringing back the LA Wildcats.
Are you
They
ready?
sold better at fucking.
So how much is the WNBA worth, Kenny?
The whole ass?
Are we talking losses too?
This should be a new segment. Let's ask Kenny some shit and let's see if he can pretend that he knows about it long enough
No,
before he gets called out.
Is he about to get?
I'm not getting called out because I didn't
Kenny,
have
how
a
much?
statement
How
on the
much is the
WNBA.
WNBA worth?
Oh, can I make a guess?
They're
too?
losing money,
Go ahead.
so
I will say, because I know it's going to be a lot more than 600 million now.
there's no way.
I honestly would have said
billion.
like 500 million. But now, with my,
Okay.
No. I'm going to have to make an educated guess now. I'm going to say 2 billion.
That's a wild
Okay.
fucking number. We admit that they lose money every year, right? They've lost money every year they've been in existence.
Kenny,
Okay, the Cardinals are losing money, aren't they?
No, but that's the
I
thing.
don't think you know how valuations work.
I'm gonna say the entire league is worth $10 billion.
You guys are
10?
both
I'm joking.
hella stupidly wrong.
I know I'm fucking with you. It's probably like 100 million.
How much?
Probably 400 million.
500 million.
Oh my God, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you should have stuck with your gut.
Because you were acting like it was. I couldn't.
That's why I'm
buy
like,
it.
I want to
I didn't want
lowball.
to show my cards.
I don't want to lowball it, but I also don't want to fucking be like,
So I
well,
take it back. I go to my original one.
I mean, if we're only talking WNBA and they can't include any NBA advances or help,
Yeah, you know what? That
Like,
you said that. I noticed
if you have
the
to
LA
sever it.
Sparks, they're very much advocated for by the Lakers.
But they weren't always that way.
it wasn't
They weren't always owned.
Magic. Before Magic, it wasn't like
Like
that.
the Sparks, like
Or
I
no,
drive
before
by
initially
Crypto,
the Sparks were owned by them. Then
Yeah.
the Sparks sold
Cookie.
it. Then the Sparks sold it.
Yep.
And then
the Aces are up.
Then they bought it again.
Seattle's up.
Then they bought it again. And then they sold it again to Magic.
Which is why it's like,
why does Magic have his hands in everything?
because he's smart. And
Didn't
he
wasn't
has.
he one of the ones that bought the Commanders?
No, he's a part of that group.
Right.
But he
One of
has
the
to get it
ones-
back in blood because he signed that horrible fucking contract with the Lakers. And was it like a 1 year, $30 million contract? It was like $1 million every year.
It was
he-
25 year, 25 million.
So he has,
Yeah, it was a horrible
so he
fucking
has
contract.
deals with the Lakers, the Sparks,
The
and the Commanders.
Doyers had to deal with the Dodgers.
and the Dodgers.
And
He still
the
does?
Dodgers.
I know he
So
sold
what's
his
up with
share.
the
And
Commanders?
LAFC.
What's up with the Commanders?
And they just won
And
a
the
championship.
LAFC.
LAFC just won a championship.
No, dude.
Beautiful.
Magic stays at the LAFC games. He's at almost every game.
Because that's the one he started.
Do you guys work that one too?
Yeah.
Because remember, they were
Remember I told you I
Chivas.
met him and I forgot who he was?
Because they were
I was like, this
Chivas.
guy looks so familiar.
Chivas
He's
went,
super tall, abnormally tall.
Chivas went bankrupt. Then they bought the rights.
Yeah.
And then they built the stadium. They built that whole brand.
Bro, that game on Saturday, the one with Messi, that shit went crazy.
Yeah, honestly, LASC games are sick. Like,
They
it's
really are.
honestly
They're
one
fun.
of the best games
There
I've
were
ever
so
been
many
to.
celebrities at that game. So
Will
many.
Ferrell goes all the time.
Now
Mark
look at-
Wilson
Half the
goes.
Now look at the
stadium
Galaxy,
was
it's
full of
crazy.
celebrities. I had never seen so many celebrities congregate in one spot.
Yeah.
Except for that Messi game. It was crazy.
All right, anyways, so let's move on.
At least now we know what we would do with $600 million.
But yeah, pretty much I'm taking a third of it, investing in some dumb shit that I don't really expect to get money out of. The other third of it, I probably invested in some good shit like to make the world better. And then the other third of it, I'll probably just sit on it, buy some cars, some houses, I don't know, some dumb shit. And then just kind of go from there. And then once I'm dead, I'll just donate it all to fucking, I don't know, something.
I ain't doing shit to charity.
Whatever I feel
I'm
like.
supporting all my homies' businesses. I'm finding a local business that I want to stay around. Hey,
Nah, that's worse, bro.
I mean,
That's worse.
if I give them like detailed,
Don't give me your money. Leave me out of it, bro. I don't want to be left with that.
Give me your money.
if I
Yeah.
could, now if
It's
I
like,
could pick
bro,
a business like, hey,
That's
I want
not
your
good juju, bro. Like, oh yeah,
I want you to stick around.
I got $10 million from my dead homie, so I put that shit into my business. Blah blah blah. Whoop de whoop.
No, I'm saying like a successful business, a successful local business.
You could give me 20, bro.
Like, nah, I'm
Calm
not
the
doing
fuck
that,
down.
bro. I don't want that shit. I'm good.
So, like, if you could pick a restaurant, your favorite restaurant,
it's
and
bad-
give them $10 million to keep them afloat,
It's
you would do
bad
it?
juju
Yes.
to it's
Invest.
bad juju to come off of somebody else's death. Like, believe me, bro.
What? Hold on.
I've been in
White people been doing this shit since before slavery. What do you mean?
Yeah, but there's a difference between getting money and shit to like live, and then a difference between getting like
Money to
something
be free?
to like take you to another level.
How is that evil?
Like, that's different,
This is some wild. This is some
bro.
wild
Trust
shit.
me. I've
This
been a pallbearer
A
like
beneficiary?
8 times.
Hey, man, they can put the mark on the bees.
I've been a pallbearer like 8 times.
Okay,
$20.
Nikki, that's problematic as fuck.
I've been to like at least 24 funerals in my life.
Uh-huh.
Like, nothing that anybody ever buys out of death is ever good.
Well, that's because they're grieving.
No, I'm just saying anything anybody buys out of grief, like,
What do you mean?
Okay, what if
either
you're
goes to
grieving? What if
waste,
you're grieving
goes
while
to
you hit the
bullshit,
lotto?
Goes,
What if you're grieving? What if
what
like?
are you talking
what do you
about?
What
mean?
if somebody dies and then you hit the lotto and you're fucking sad about that person in your family who died, but you hit the lotto?
Wait.
This is what I was talking about
So,
earlier. How you
wait.
talk out of your ass.
What
Like,
do you
No,
mean-
but
what
it's
do you
like-
mean? Buys out of grief. What does that mean?
You gotta further explain
if,
your point.
So, like, if somebody in my family died and they left me $100,000, and I
Inheritance.
spent half of that on a fucking Lambo, like, I for sure would get a lemon, or like, as like,
okay.
it would not be a good Lambo.
You
like,
know what? I think I can attest to that.
Like,
I've had a
like-
lot of my family be dropping like flies, and when we don't get inheritance very much because I come from broke people money. But like when somebody does inherit some stuff and they do spend it on things, it ends up turning out bad.
But not everybody has that same story. Some people actually like.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if you are inherited,
my aunt bought a house with her inheritance money and it burned down.
and some people say that buying a fucking house in today's climate is a horrible idea.
Okay, that was like 20 years ago. But yeah.
Well, okay, then there you go. But
It was-
that
See
also,
how
there's
he- see how
some-
he just keeps talking out of his.
I mean, I get the bad juju thing, but like,
I'll take that back.
if somebody left,
though.
if somebody left you money in kind, they say, "I want you to go be free with this money." And you fuck it off. Isn't that kind of what they wanted?
The better thing, no.
They didn't want you to
Because
do
why
that.
would they- why would
gave
they
you
give
the
you
freedom
money?
to have this money to free yourself, and you chose to fuck it off with some bread. That's your fault. That's not the rule for people leaving you money.
The better thing would be like if we had a business together, like if this podcast took over and you died and you just left me like full control of it, and then I just did something with it.
Now 50% goes to Isaiah.
Then
You
that's
got me
different.
fucked up.
Then yeah, I would sell it. Like I wouldn't want to touch it after that.
You're like, this is.
I wouldn't want to touch it.
I wouldn't want to do another episode. This
And
is
it would just die. It wouldn't be worth anything.
Oh,
It's true.
That was kind of dark, but I get why he says that. Like we
sure.
can't bring in another fucking person
Is it
and do
dark?
touchdowns
I
and
was like,
tangents. But I get like, if you were gonna sell
what
the
I'm
rights
saying
to
is-
perpetuity,
But what I'm saying is,
and get a fat bag.
what you're talking about is like, okay, leave somebody a business, leave somebody an opportunity. That's different. But even that,
You just leave
you're
somebody
still
money.
leaving them a burden because you're still expecting them to fill your shoes
No,
or
you're
to do
fucking
something
dead.
or to do something that they may or may not have wanted to do.
Hey man, if I leave you money
But
and I'm
if-
telling you why
if-
I'm leaving you the
if
money,
it's- But if it's both something that we're already doing and working on together, then that's different
Okay.
than like leaving your business to your nephew who may not even like sports.
I don't wanna be a pirate.
Now all of a sudden he's got to figure out what the fuck to do with this. Now all of a sudden he's got to work with me. Now all of a sudden he's got to go through all this paperwork. Like you're leaving him a burden. You think you're leaving him a gift, but you're really leaving him a burden.
I understand that part, and I agree with you.
And even leaving a 19-year-old, if this podcast was worth anything, even leaving him $10
hey,
million
first off, it's worth a lot, man. We've touched lives. Okay, relax.
Even leaving him $10 million off of the podcast, you're still leaving him a burden because you're leaving him your life's work and expecting him to either fuck it off or invest it or whatever he's going to do. Doesn't matter what he does with it.
But I'm gonna leave you a podcast.
It's not going to ever be fulfilling.
I'm saying I'm
because
leaving you.
you're not
10
there.
million.
And even if you give direct directions, you don't know what the fuck is going to change.
'Cause I'm
and what
dead, I won't
context is
care.
it. But that's what I'm saying is like the perception of like, oh, I'm gonna leave somebody something is like, it's not real. Like you think you're setting somebody up, you think you have control, you think you're helping them, but really, you're just passing on your burden and your legacy.
I mean, tell that to the fucking Walmart family.
I think that's slightly superstitious, but I see where you're coming from.
Tell that to the people who own the color blue or the people who own Similac. They did just fine. The Walmart family's doing just fine. Pretty sure they had to leave. Pretty sure they had to leave something down. I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not going to leave an empire to somebody who doesn't even fucking have the ability to leave.
I mean, even that is different.
If I have $10 million,
but even that is
somebody.
different because those families are worth money just based off being born. Like
Vanderbilt,
a Getty, a Vanderbilt, like those people are already worth.
Yeah, but
money.
it started somewhere.
They're already worth money, so you don't even need to inherit money.
Yeah, but it started.
They already have money.
But that's my point. It started somewhere, and it has to start somewhere if you're going to do that.
Yeah, it starts with life insurance.
And also people willing to sacrifice. People have to sacrifice a couple generations, right? They're going to say, no, this is the plan.
No, somebody just has to die and have life insurance. I mean, that's what generational wealth is. That's why white people pass on wealth is because they have insurance on everything.
Yeah, I get that. But
on everything.
Okay, if you leave an idiot money, they're going to fuck it off. But if you leave somebody money with instructions and they just choose
the bottom line is, Kenny, it takes money to make money. The more you know, the more you see, right? So even leaving somebody money, if they didn't earn it, they don't know what it takes, they're never going to do what you thought they would or could do with it.
And honestly, in my case, I'm okay with that. Because my life's mission, if I left you $10 million when I died, what the fuck else do you want from me? What else do I owe you? I don't owe the world anything else after that.
Your expertise.
I'm dead, bitch. I gave you $10 million.
Your life?
I gave you $10 million. I got nothing left. I gave you $10 million.
Is not that much, bro.
It's not. But for the normal person?
That's still not that much.
Okay. Give you $10 million. And I say, just live a normal life. You could fuck it off, but save it here. If I give you distinct instructions on how to not blow this money, and you blow this money, I'm not guilty.
But that's what I'm saying.
I'm dead. I left you $10 million with instructions.
This all goes back to the savior complex. This is all the same thing that you're talking about.
Man, if somebody give me a lick to hit, I'm going to hit it.
Whether you're talking about the inheritance, whether you're talking about the lottery, you're talking about a savior complex. You're talking about something coming into something that you didn't earn magically out of nowhere. And to me, like, that's not real. Like
that's not real and it's bad juju?
Exactly.
So then the lotto's bad juju.
I mean, somewhat,
it has to be.
Somewhat, yeah.
No, it has to be.
Somewhat. I mean, our public schools and roads are still fucked up, so I don't know where the third of it is going. That's supposed to go to that.
I mean, probably old retired politicians' pockets, but don't get me started on that. Those motherfuckers have great health insurance. But I'm just saying. If you could win the lottery tomorrow,
but what I'm saying is
do it?
the idea of like I worked and broke my back and did all the shit that I did to leave you $10 million.
I'm leaving you whatever I got left.
Like that's broken in my mind as well. Like,
but we're humans.
Fuck that. I'd rather have a fucking Kenny Berry unpublished journal than fucking $10 million.
I mean, that's why I get that, but you don't always get that. Our ancestors didn't always give us that. A lot of shit could, like, there's people in my family, if I go back far enough, I know that's not the real name.
But that's what I'm saying.
They have to change their name.
So it's easy to sit here and say, someone who's never been gifted or saved or anything like that, to say, like, yeah, I wish I had that and I want to create that. But what I'm saying is, still fuck it off. People still find ways to be screw-ups. People still fucking bad shit happens. Like, you're never going to save your future generations. They have to save themselves. The best thing you can give them is knowledge and time.
And a head start?
Which is knowledge and time.
I mean, you give me $10 million. That's a motherfucking head start. I don't care what you say. That gives me time to fuck up.
You're seeing it with the fucking NIL. You're seeing it with college. You see it with athletes. You give somebody $10 million at 19 years old, you see what happens. There's literally fucking documentaries about broke.
Yes.
Like, that's the perfect example of what you're talking about.
Some of those people didn't have guidance or resources, and that.
But they thought the money was going to save them. That's
I don't think the money's going to save me. I just wanted to further along my agenda.
Yes, you do. You think it's going to save your legacy and say, at least I left you $10 million. That's more than I ever got, and that's all that I had. That's literally what you just said verbatim.
No, I'm saying
that's literally what you just said verbatim.
I'm saying I'm leaving you $10 million. Good luck. Whatever. This is your journey. You started off with $10 million. Hopefully, you can flip this into 20. And if I taught you how to flip $1 into $2, at least I taught you something.
We've been talking about this for like 40 minutes.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of feeds into some college football news that's coming up. But yeah, that was really introspective and deep. I bet y'all didn't think we could do shit like this on the pod, but yeah, we do it. And it's free. You're welcome, guys. Guess I should
Yeah, maybe not talk out of your ass and have the rundown up.
Nah, it's not that.
Whoa. Y'all didn't do y'all's Monday Night Football pick. I got that.
We can do that at the end. We can do that at the end.
It would take like 2 secs.
We can do it at the end. That's a good way to end because it's like looking forward.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, shit. Wait, damn, I'm on the wrong part of the rundown. Oops,
Plus, Kenny already segued because he's selfish and he's just talking out of his ass. And
I'm not talking out of my ass.
That you prepared.
Points. No, I'm reading it. I read it.
You can still pull valid points out of your ass.
Okay, what is it with you and pulling stuff out of your ass and every new idea?
I'm telling you, I got 3 texts today about your takes.
Every new idea
always talk out of his ass.
Every new idea is not bullshit. Or shouted in crap.
Yeah, but sometimes about 80% of your
sometimes I pull a Hail Mary out my ass. I ain't gonna front. It's a couple times I'm like, that was not how that was supposed to turn out.
Segment.
All right, cool. College football. USC clapped up Nevada 66-14. They had about 668 total yards. Linebackers Eric Gentry and Mason Cobb didn't play. They're kind of nursing some injuries. They play Stanford this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It is the final meeting between Stanford and USC for the foreseeable future. Stanford goes off to the ACC making no money because, that's brilliant Ivy League education right there. Great negotiating. And, USC's off to the Big Ten. Stanford is USC's oldest rival. They've been playing since 1905. USC owns all-time record 64, 34, and 3. It would have been 65, but they vacated the 2005 win, for reasons. Caleb Wiliiams has like 9 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards passing, and like 75% completion percentage through 2 games. And there's so much depth on the team that a lot of guys are probably going to have to redshirt due to the fact that there's like 15 receivers. You're not going to get the reps and catches you think you are, even if somebody says, hey, a couple guys went injured, you're going to come in and be a savior this game. Well, you lost the year of eligibility and you have 15 catches. Was it really worth it? Some people might not say that. Some people might say, yeah, we're trying to win. There's also Caleb Williams' father came out and said he could foresee Caleb, pretty much staying in college another year. Pretty much if the team that is going to pick him is really not set up for him to succeed and other things. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that was like a dog whistle to like, hey, if the Cardinals are going to pick first overall, Caleb's going to stay in college. Which honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea. There are some things about his game he needs to improve on. Go back to college. I might pull a Bo Jackson and just not declare for the draft that year. Like, there would be no reason for him to play another down of college football after this season. I mean, Jamar Chase did it. He sat out a whole year and then declared for the draft. Caleb could do the same thing. And so LSU got their shit kicked in by Florida State. It was pretty bad. I think it was like 52-27, I think was the final score. These were like top 10 teams. They got smacked up pretty fierce. At first, it was like, oh, okay. Whatchamacallit? Jaden Daniels like did a hurdle early in the game, and he hurdled like into like just a wall of humanity. And they're like, why the hell did you hurdle? He got his shit smacked. Keon Coleman, receiver, who was apparently a transfer from Florida State, killed LSU. Johnny Wilson, Jordan Travis, has been in college like 7 years. He's now the all-time touchdown leader in Florida State history. He passed Jameis Winston. But Jameis Winston did in 3 years. So let's just keep that in perspective. Don't disrespect my GOAT, my Florida State GOAT. The Pac-12 finished 13-0 to start the season openers. And by the way, none of the Pac-12 games are actually, none of the schools are playing on the Pac-12 network because their deal ran out. So nobody even saw USC Nevada. But USC Stanford, I think, is on Fox, which is crazy to me. Like, they're not even, and like, there were so many complaints about USC Nevada. Like, they said the cameraman was missing everything. It was just really bad. Everybody's like, the Pac-12 is going out bad. And, you know, it's unfortunate. So, I a couple post-game interviews, Lincoln Riley. All the young guys, you know, that you have playing, how easy or hard is it to kind of, you know, tell some guys you might want a red shirt just because there's so much depth at, you know, key positions?
Yeah, we're all kind of having to get back in that world. You know, COVID took us out of that for a while when everybody had the free year. It's like you kind of forgot about the 4-game red shirt for a while, and we're all back into that world. So we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. But if guys can help this team now, you know, then we're going to need a lot of guys. It's a long journey, you know, and these three guys have been through some of those journeys. It's a long year. You're going to have different lineups. We're going to need different people to step up. It's not always going to be the same people every week. And I think we got a roster full of guys that are hungry to make the most of their opportunities whenever they come.
USC, like Rayleigh Brown, the wide receiver who was a running back, he pretty much wasn't even on the depth chart this past week for Nevada. He was a 5-star. He was a huge playmaker for them his freshman year. And realistically, he's probably a main candidate for getting redshirted because now that, like, in terms of COVID, hey, you guys over here talking about cider and shit, like,
Bro, listen to this. Hurry up and talk about your.
Sorry, I couldn't.
better bring me. Yeah,
I
I better get one. I better get a cider. Is all I'm saying. I better get at least one.
Bro.
Bottom line is, comes to USC, they're probably gonna have way more people redshirt, especially at receiver, especially at defensive end. Corey Foreman has just not lived up to expectations. He's a junior. I think that's a dude who should probably eat a red shirt because they USC, like, it's crazy. And a lot of schools in the Pac-12, especially with, you know, the COVID 1 year exemption for eligibility being over, more and more cats are going to have the red shirt. And I think it'll be really surprising, especially some 5-star guys. If they don't transfer, they're definitely just going to sit out the season. And, you know, there's 2 more games, so we'll see. Should be very interesting to see how that goes. I'm pretty sure Stanford is going to get clapped by USC. Probably about a 30-point loss. You never know. But the biggest news, obviously, of the college football landscape Colorado beating the brakes off TCU. Shedeur Sanders completing 80% of his passes. He went like 38 for 47, 558 yards or something like that.
Did you see the stuff he said about Tom Brady calling him or texting him?
Yeah. He also said, y'all talk about HBCU products. I've never thrown for that many yards in my life.
This is bomb. Shout out to our homie Andrew for sponsoring us this week.
Shout out to Andrew Martinez, who drafted Patrick Mahomes first.
Record door lig. Premium Swedish hard seltzer.
You're not allowed to pronounce words on this podcast.
Finish your fucking segment before you drink, bro.
Yeah, so running back, true freshman running back, Donovan Edwards, I think. He had like 5 catches, 135 yards, 3 touchdowns. They had 400-yard receivers. Travis Hunter had 10 catches, 119 yards, and an interception, 3 tackles, and a PBU. He played like 110 snaps, which is insane. Like, he's already a Heisman candidate. He's a true sophomore. Like, nobody's really played that many snaps. In a college game, that's like 2 games worth of snaps. Honestly, I think Colorado could definitely upset USC because their defense is paper mache. And their corners can't defend go routes to save their lives. It's bad. I got a score prediction coming out tomorrow, or maybe like early Saturday morning. We'll see what happens with the USC Stanford game. But this is the final Pac-12 opener for either school, and yeah, they've been playing each other for 105 years, and this will probably be the last time in a very long time. Colorado is a problem.
That's all?
Yep. I was going to play 2 more sounds, but the Lincoln Riley one was the most important one.
That was a good one. It was like your best segment ever, honestly. I think your best clip. It actually made sense. Like for what you're going to be covering the next few weeks.
It was actually... the other 2 answers
it was kind of coach's speak, but your question was really good. He just kind of, he did what he was going to do. But.
Well, because he didn't want to. Gino Quinones is the senior offensive lineman. He had a horrific injury, and he's out for the season. So they're already losing a depth piece on the offensive line, but they got so many receivers and running backs. Deuce Robinson, receiver, who was recruited seen as the number 1 tight end in the country, he had a 71-yard touchdown catch. So Marcus Joyner, or I don't think his name was Marcus. I forget his first name, but true freshman running back, he had a 47-yard touchdown run. It was 35-14 when Caleb got taken out the game, or 35-7 when they got taken out the game in the third quarter. They scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, and it was all backups. So in my article, I wrote USC has the little sister that's bigger than the big sister energy. Well, our 2s and 3s are beating the dog shit out of you. And the crazy thing about Nevada is, and I'll just leave y'all with this, Nevada had one...
you could have said that without going into the whole stat recital for 2 minutes that you went. You kind of buried the lead.
It depends on, what side of it you're on. But, so the crazy thing...
The side of it that I know you go and report, so you don't have to overcompensate by stating over week-old stats, like this is a USC podcast.
It's not a USC podcast.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I trust you. You don't have to fucking go into...
For people who didn't see the game because it's not on Pac-12 Network because you can't watch that shit.
Oh, they can Google it and see exactly how much everyone had.
That was kind of a diss on my part, but they did it to themselves. DirecTV actually has a deal with USC, but then you can't see the games because Pac-12 Network. Crazy work. But yeah, so Nevada had 1 7th-year senior, 10 6-year seniors, and 3 5-year seniors. That's crazy. That's a crazy number. 2 of those 6-year seniors were former USC players. So, and Sean Dollars is actually on Nevada, which is kind of crazy. He was the infamous. They pretty much made up a transfer rule.
Can you talk about the SEC football or something, Nikki?
I can. I was going to mention
this guy's filibustering, man.
No, I'm not.
He wrapped this part on the game literally 5 minutes ago, and he's still talking about the game.
Texas A&M is playing Miami next week.
Thank you.
Wait, the Hurricanes?
Wow, look,
Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, Texas about to clap them cheeks. Connor Weigman built div. He had the highest QBR of any quarterback in the entirety of the NCAA last week, higher than Caleb Wiliiams.
Who did they play?
Get fucked on.
Yo. That's wild. She said get fucked on. What does that even look like?
She called you a cuck.
Literally, like I'm just in a sleeping bag while two people are around.
Statement, get fucked on.
I know, but it's so disrespectful. It's like I've never had it said to me in that term.
Sis is coming for your college football spot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
saying
every time his college football, he says stuff.
Every time I sick the pit bull, she always has some shit she's brewing on.
No, it's just
you just want to say brewing, you piece of shit.
I just want to be respectful, but like half of his takes, I'm just like, this is the stupidest piece of shit.
Thank you.
No, it's because you're an Oklahoma and Texas A&M homer.
Bro. You just be like overcompensating sometimes.
No,
I really don't,
we just have very.
You do,
I think we
man.
just have very differing opinions on college football.
We know what's going on.
We get it. You watch.
So we just are on different sides of it because it's funnier.
Yeah, for sure.
But the difference is like she
You don't
gets to the point.
I do.
You spend like 3 minutes convincing me that you watched the game and were at the game when I already know you were at the game, bro. Like
I was
wasn't-
also at the game. Didn't care to pay attention.
Not trying to convince you. I'm just reeling off stats. For people who weren't. Jesus.
Because it sounds like you're very overcompensating, bro. Like,
I just have a lot of
because
information.
think about it. Some people are going to listen to this podcast on Tuesday, so by then you're spending 7 minutes talking about a game that's 2 weeks old.
I mean, if you listen to the Thursday episode, that's a whole nother issue. You should probably be listening to us live. But all right, cool.
But this is a podcast, bro. The point is, you don't listen to it right when it's recorded.
I'm just saying, y'all not gonna have me. Y'all not gonna have me like Butch Jones crying.
Okay, so talk
after a
about
73-0 ass whooping.
Big games coming up.
Thank you. See,
Big
I don't
games
even care.
this week.
I don't.
What we listen to you talk about?
I'm only here for the ups. I'm only here
for 15 minutes.
I'm only here for the upsets and to see if Cal could score 58 points again because they haven't done that in like 5 years. That was a crazy.
Kenny,
number.
just think about it this way, bro.
Okay, Alabama's playing Texas. What's your thoughts?
We're paid to sit here and talk to you.
Does anybody?
And when you're talking,
paid to talk to
she's
me?
on her phone. I'm drinking. Like, you're losing us. You're definitely losing other people out there.
You realize you don't even like college football?
I was plugging the pod.
I still listen to you. I listen to you.
Okay, cool. Ain't no way Texas beating Alabama. That's why I don't care.
Yeah, it's just
'cause they don't have
an easy
Bijan Robinson. So
Well, it's a ranked matchup, so I thought I'd mention it. Let's see what else.
pick a game somebody might
Iowa
actually
is
lose.
playing Iowa State. In-state rivalry.
Just talk
Iowa
about
football.
Nevada.
It's Iowa
I'm saying,
football.
bro.
It's Iowa football.
It's Nevada, bro.
Dog, you just talked about Nevada and
Nevada
San Jose
won 2
State
games
in
last year.
consecutive weeks.
Stanford is going to be a big game. We have 64,000 tickets sold at the Coliseum this week.
Holy shit!
So, for USC, that's okay. That's pretty good.
Because they were 62 last week.
We had we only had what was it? 44,000.
I'm telling you.
I'm talking about like attendance that they announced.
I'm telling you.
I'm not talking about tickets sold.
She's coming for your time. She's
That's
coming
because she
for your
works in the
airplay.
literal fucking
She's coming for your airplay.
I have
She's coming.
the receipts.
But even now, she's not reading off her thing like you would and be like,
I
oh,
wasn't
top
reading
25. This
I'm
you
not
have in the
reading off
past.
shit.
You have in the past.
That was like 2 years ago.
That was
Fuck
like
out of
last
here.
year.
Now you can get fucked
That was
on,
like
bro.
last year.
Bro, you can get
That
fucked
was
on.
like
I'm not
last
even
year.
doing that.
That was like last
All
year,
right,
sir.
number 12 Utah versus Baylor.
She's on her phone reading. Baylor lost to Texas
But
State
she's not
last
reading
week.
it, listing it. You'd be like,
Baylor sucks now.
Number 12 is playing number 20, blah, blah, blah. One side note, blah, blah, blah,
You
blah,
just
blah,
you just didn't
blah,
hear
blah,
what I
blah.
said, did you?
So unranked Baylor versus your arch nemesis, number 12 ranked Utah.
See how she's setting it up?
Wait, Utah's
I'm watching
playing
a
Baylor?
professional work right now.
Hey, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Jesus.
First off, shut up, Pete. Second off,
I'm just saying, man.
Baylor lost to Texas State. Shout out to GJ Kinney. He
But
actually,
you loathe Utah, so you're really gonna go Utah?
I don't.
Let me hear it. I want to
Look at my
Baylor
girl
can honestly win that
blossoming.
game because
Look at
Utah's
my girl
down.
blossoming.
Utah, and who did she learn under?
She couldn't even
Whose
talk on this
tutelage did she
podcast a
learn
year
under?
ago.
Whose tutelage did she learn under at the NFLPA game? Yeah, shut up.
Okay, she was with me at the NFLBA game too.
Who was at the practices?
I was at the practice
Pete
too.
was too, but I mean, I learned from both of y'all.
Pete, when were you at the practices?
The day you weren't there?
So one day?
You only
Stop
went.
stalling, bro. Tell me if you're gonna pick Utah or not.
But you
said
see, this is
Baylor's
what I'm
gonna
talking
win.
about, bro. Stop
said Baylor's gonna-
overcompensating.
I said Baylor's going to win.
Who
you literally
you
cut me
telling
off.
me?
Baylor's
you?
gonna win.
Yeah, Baylor's
You
going to win.
hate Utah so bad, it's crazy.
No, like
He loves
Utah's
Utah.
mid.
He loves Utah. He's lying.
I love Utah when they're good, but they're on a third string
Utah
QB. Cam
beat
Rising.
USC twice last season. Utah.
Cam Rising isn't playing. He's hurt. His
Okay.
knee is messed up.
Okay, number 9, Wisconsin at Washington State. Easy. Pac-12 matchup. What you
Wisconsin is probably going to win that one again. They're probably going to upset them again.
Okay.
Cam Ward was balling out of control.
Okay, closing out, we have number 23, Texas A&M versus Miami. Don't be biased.
Miami finds a way.
Bruh.
I didn't even finish my sentence. Miami finds a way to steal a loss
Oh, okay.
from the clutches of fucking victory. They find a way to choke this game away.
Is that how low you stooped, Kenny?
Miami
You
sucks,
literally
bro.
had to build a fucking 3-minute dramatic pause just to say Miami's
You
going to
literally
lose,
cut
bro?
me off for like the past
I don't even
5
watch
minutes.
college football, and I could have said
Yeah,
that,
you don't
bro.
watch college football. I don't respect your opinion on
Yeah,
college
and
football.
I don't have to draw it out for 7 minutes. Say Miami
Stop
is
slurring
going
into the mic. First
to
of all.
lose.
You realize you're overtaught. You were overtaught.
Okay, Ryan Clark, we get it.
That's
You watch
disrespectful.
Ryan Clark.
That's disrespectful.
We get it. You listen to the
Hey,
bit.
Ryan Clark pull up
We
on you.
get it.
I'm not. Oh shit, my
See,
phone.
even God started your shit, dude. Fuck.
Fuck you, bro. Oh,
Put more effort
it's
in.
worse. It got so much worse. No,
Damn, she's out here wiping her ass with fucking USC shirts, bro.
Oh, it's funny.
Jesus Christ.
It's so ugly, isn't it?
Yeah, that's nasty.
I mean I don't like that gray
like-
personally, but whatever.
Boo boo.
You have to wear it on game days now.
I mean, damn, y'all really gonna be burning that up? That's fucked up.
No, it's like dry fit ish.
It gets hot when you're not in that air conditioning press box.
Oh, yeah. Super.
I was
It's
walking.
gonna
Out.
start cooling down.
Bottom line is though, JG Kinney had the second most number of transfers, right behind Dion. I think he had like 60. He had like 60 new players on his team, and Texas State out here whooping up on Baylor.
Hey, you remember how DVDs like they used to come with like extra scenes and alternate endings?
Director's cuts.
That's fucking Kenny's college football segment every week. This dude had 4 endings. You said bottom line twice. You said to wrap things up. You said in conclusion, like
Okay, if I ever say a conclusion, it's not the conclusion. You should know that by now. I'd have to fucking tell you that? I have to really tell you that? Hi, my name's Kenny. I have a lot of information. Sometimes I give it, sometimes I don't. And then when I don't give it, everybody gets mad.
No, see,
and when I do,
I-
they want me to stop talking.
I laugh when I talk shit, but like I'm the exact same way, so I can't even be mad. I will tell a 1-minute story and stretch it to 10.
Exactly.
That's just my thing.
Because it's just funner that way.
that's why I said you're on Kenny's coaching tree.
Yeah, so don't take credit, bitch.
I didn't say credit.
She's sprouting her wings.
I said she's blossoming. I didn't say it was because of me. I said I'm watching her blossom. I'm watching fucking Anakin take on fucking.
So I'm Palpatine? Wow. Okay.
You're definitely Palpatine.
I'm not Palpatine.
Let's ask the group chat.
Fine.
Bro.
You're Mace Windu then.
Let's ask the group chat.
Then you're Mace Windu.
Sure. Fine with that.
You don't even. You could at least fought and said Qui-Gon.
All right, do y'all want to try a touchdown and turnover?
Yeah,
I don't know.
'cause
Let's see if Kenny.
There's no more
cooperates.
Constables to talk about.
Let's see if Kenny.
I don't want to hear about
cooperates.
Baylor or Utah anymore.
Yeah, we have to make sure you're fully done, Kenny.
I was done.
We don't know. You said you were done with your college football segment
I'm done.
for a time.
As a matter of fact, I'm done. In
Okay.
conclusion,
All
let's
right.
move on.
So,
Gaslighting us.
first up on our touchdown and turnover slate, we got the Cowboys and Steele agreeing to a 5-year, $86.8 million extension.
I didn't even know his contract was up yet. I feel like that was pretty fast. But-
I was aware just because I'm too well versed into the Cowboys, but it was under wraps, I think.
Why are you?
My partner,
Wasn't Lionel Collins just there?
Oh
like
shit,
2
your
years ago?
fiance's a Cowboys fan?
He is.
You don't listen when
Unfortunately.
she talks. She's talked about this several times, at least 8
When
times.
people talk to me about the Cowboys, I tune out.
To
That's
be
not. I'm
fair,
sorry. I tune
I'm not
out.
proud of it. So,
But you've talked about how much you've watched it, and it was every time I bring up Zeke, you've talked about how you're a Zeke suffragist
I'm a Zeke hater. My partner is a Zeke.
because you've had to watch Zeke and all this
Yeah.
about She's gone into detail about it many times.
Zeke, though,
I tune out
disliked him
Cowboys
since,
shit.
since Ohio State though. So like it wasn't a Cowboys thing. It was like a college
Mm-hmm.
thing.
I mean, he got what, like $50 million guaranteed?
Yeah. So Steele, something like that. So Steele gets $87 million pretty much for 5 years. Touchdown tournament.
Has a touchdown. He's a right tackle. Proven he's worked his way to be one of the best right tackles on the market. And $50 million guaranteed.
I think
Pretty solid.
I think it's a touchdown too because for whatever you could say the Cowboys aren't, at least for the better part of 20 years, they've been building their team up front and they've been at least decent in the conversation, a wild card team because of that. So I think that just continues the trend. So it's definitely a touchdown in my eyes.
Big Teddy. Okay. So next up, we have a huge deal with Joe Burrow. As of today, he has become the highest paid NFL player in existence with a 5-year, $275 million deal. Touchdown or turnover. What is that math?
That's wild
so
to me.
275 divided by 5, that's $55 million a year.
Probably about 58, 60 and
He's only
guarantees.
going into his 4th year? So he
Something like
wasn't
that.
even up on the contract.
Something
Yeah,
like
but
that.
I mean, Herbert's deal fast-tracked everybody else's deal. That's why everybody talk about Lamar.
Well, the thing
Lamar's deal's looking pretty good now.
Well, the thing is, Burrow, one, is after Lamar and Herbert. And 2, Burrow even admitted himself, like just last week, that he wasn't even thinking about a contract extension.
Well, Burrow tore his ACL.
So the fact that he got it is like crazy, but it's good for him. It's good that the Bengals recognize his worth.
Yeah.
They're willing to put their money where their mouth is, and they didn't want to play the whole song and dance that the Ravens played with Lamar. They just got their guy, and they're keeping him. They're going to continue to build around him. So it's smart for them. It's good for him. Obviously, like you said, he tore his ACL already, so he's dealt with a couple different injuries already. Like, so he knows he's mortal. So get your bag. Like,
plus you got to
it's a
factor in
touchdown.
they got to pay T. Higgins or let him walk.
And he's the best quarterback in that division by far.
Are you sure about that?
By a mile.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
If you put Lamar Jackson on the Bengals in the Super Bowl, are you sure about that?
I think he's a better leader.
I think the thing
Aaron
is,
Donald not catching Lamar.
I think the
Jackson.
thing is, the reason why we can't answer that question is because Lamar Jackson hasn't finished the last 2 seasons.
That's bullshit. You know,
And in those
didn't
last
he
2
win MVP
seasons,
that year?
and in those that was 3 seasons ago. And in those
Close
2
enough.
seasons, we've seen Joe Burrow take his team to the Super Bowl and take his team to the AFC title.
One of the
game.
most sacked quarterbacks in the league.
The fact that he was saying,
What does that mean?
I wasn't even thinking about a contract, doesn't that attest to something to you?
Because he know he gonna get paid and white privilege, but
I mean,
I said white privilege. Shit, sorry. Privilege, Jesus. I'm turning
doesn't that somewhat attest to something though?
leverage.
I wasn't even thinking about a contract.
Yeah, I don't think that's leverage.
Yeah, it is because the Bengals have. What are you? You're not gonna pay me? What are you gonna do? Not pay me?
Plenty of time to get paid.
Yeah, he
Man,
had
they
plenty of
have
time
to
get
pay
paid.
other people. They have to make a decision on Mixon next year. They have to decide they're going to pay T. Higgins.
I think it's more of they know, like you said, where the market is going.
Sam Hubbard.
They know where the market is going, so they know that
It's better to pay
either
him.
way, it's better to pay him first than to pay him last.
Exactly.
So,
So who's next? Who's up next?
Because it's just
What
gonna
young
get
quarterback
worse.
is up next?
Because 2 years from now, he might be expecting $300 million.
Who else is in his class?
What year was Joe Burrow drafted? 2019?
19? 20?
19?
Say 20?
No, it's after
21.
LSU won 2019.
No, it's 20.
2020,
It's 20.
I think. 2020.
So he was a 2020 class because LSU won the title in 2019.
They did?
Yeah, 2020.
It was before COVID.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Before COVID, okay. So 2020. Who else?
No,
was in
he
that
was
class?
2021.
Wow, he's
2021?
a baby.
It's 2023
So you're
right
saying
now.
he's
No, 2020.
I was
Yeah,
saying because
2020.
LSU won
So
the
this would be
title
his
like
fourth
3-4 years
season
ago.
then? He's coming into his.
That's
fourth
what I
season?
said, right? His fourth season, yeah.
Yeah,
Said
okay.
that earlier.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it like this: like who's up next to get paid?
Nobody. That draft class is trash.
Exactly. So it's going to be at least another 3 years. Do you really want to be 2 years removed from everybody else in your class getting paid? And now you got to fight to get paid, but they're going to be like, well, look who's coming up after you. They suck.
Well, it's a.
So
it's a
I'm
good
gonna-
business
That's
decision
not.
for the
Yeah, that's not
Bengals,
really
in
how
my
it
opinion,
works.
because 2 years from now, he's going to be expecting 300.
He will be, but they're probably going to want to.
I mean, that's a good point.
They might want to try to
That's
pay
a good
him less
point.
than what they're giving him now. Is what I'm saying.
No, that's not how that works, Katie.
Tell all the running backs that.
Well,
He's not a running back.
I know,
the
but
running
like-
back market is much different, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just a couple receivers who thought they were going to get
Yeah, so the
massive
one who
deals,
would have
not
been
take a pay
next is
cut.
Jalen, but he already got paid.
exactly.
Hurts.
Yeah.
He drops in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
He's a second round
Shit.
pick though.
2020, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it makes sense to pay
Yeah,
him
but
now.
Hurts already got paid. Yeah,
He's a second round pick, so it's like
I thought it was 2021. Damn.
it's like what's the point in prolonging the inevitable?
Well, there is.
So the next
plus
one
side,
would
is
be
they don't
Trevor
have to pay as
Lawrence.
much.
Trevor Lawrence got like 2
And
more
maybe
years.
Justin Fields.
Trevor Lawrence got like 2 more years.
He's only got one more year than Joe Burrow, and he missed a year just like Joe Burrow did. So he's literally on the same track.
He
I
played
think
his
that-
rookie year.
I think that T-Law.
I thought he got
he's
hurt.
another
No,
year.
just the fucking Urban Meyer was so terrible that we just pretend like Travis Etienne missed.
Well,
his
either
rookie
way,
year.
he's only 1 year behind Joe Burrow. So
But I don't-
ideally, he could get paid next year.
If Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence gets them deep into the playoffs, then I think he might get paid. If not, they wait 2
Yeah.
years.
I think the reason Justin Fields hasn't gotten paid is just because while he is
Chicago was terrible.
he is in the upswing. It's just that he didn't have the greatest start to his career in the NFL.
I mean, Burrow missed his rookie
So-
year.
Well, yeah, but
No, he tore his ACL while he was playing.
I know
his
there's
rookie
that
year.
saying
But he
where it's
missed
like,
his-
no
he-
credit
in,
is
like, the
better than
fourth
bad
game.
credit, but like
Still played a little bit.
He still missed the.
Yeah, but he
his whole
played
year.
a little bit.
like you know that saying that no credit is worse than bad credit. It's like I think it's the opposite in the NFL. No,
Let's see.
They made accrued years, depending on who you
He
are.
played 10 games. He was
Burrow-
2-7.
Burrow played 10 games.
2-7. Yep.
So he played
13-5.
So he played a chunk of his year.
It was 13-5.
He was on a good pace.
well he had quite the upswing in comparison. to
And what's
The
he got?
next year is when he really took the next step.
Yeah, because he had Chase.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like not everything is. It's definitely a team thing, but
Once your quarterback gets paid, you're
Justin
pretty
Fields
much
is
on
a very unlucky individual. But as far as his team goes,
All right, let's move on to the next one.
okay. Moving on, we have. Sorry, let me put. So the 49ers and Bosa finally agreed to a deal that ended his holdout. That deal is a 5-year, $170 million extension.
And he got like $127 million guaranteed, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Or 150. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, this is Michael Parsons' floor. Because Brian Burns is going to be next. Because Brian Burns is good.
They said they're really far off from a deal, though.
They are, but he should be next because Michael Parsons is going to be like, I'm better than both these dudes combined, and I do both of what they do. So you got to pay me $200 million, and I want like $200 million guaranteed. You give me $225, and I want $200 million guaranteed.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Parsons cracks too.
He has to. He's much better than Bosa, and
Much?
Bosa's
Yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
Bosa's already out of this world.
I would agree that he is better than Bosa, but it's very marginal.
The dude was an All-American linebacker, damn near, and he ran a 4.3 40, and he comes into the league as a rookie and plays defensive end.
Man, I
They're
agree
different
with you.
players.
I
They
agree with
are,
you.
but that's what I'm saying.
I think he is better.
He's more valuable.
Marginally speaking, I would say he's better, but by a mile, I feel
No,
like that's
his
excessive.
impact is much more important on the Cowboys defense than it is. Which, by the way, the funny thing is, the Niners could have drafted Michael Parsons, but they traded for Trey Lance.
They could.
Imagine how sick that would be if those two dudes were on the same defense.
That would be insane.
But bottom line is, they probably actually have a Super Bowl, but they fucked it off. Bottom line is, Bosa is a pure 4-3 defensive end. Parsons can play all three linebacker spots and both defensive end spots.
I do agree he's more valuable, but
that's why his money has to go up.
He also hasn't had 15 sacks.
He doesn't need that 15 sacks. He had like 100 tackles and
15 sacks is a lot, bro.
Didn't he get
okay.
14?
Didn't he have he had 14 and a half, I think.
Yeah, something like that. 14.
Okay, but didn't he win defensive
Not
rookie of the
15.
year? Look at Micah Parsons' stats and tell me that's not as impressive. Bro, is there a Fred Warner playing next to him?
I mean, he still hasn't had 15 sacks.
So what? Khalil Mack had 15 sacks one time, and he ain't hit that mark since.
Bosa's had it twice.
And he also played with a defensive line full of first-round picks. You're not telling me Bosa on the Cowboys makes the Cowboys better. You're not telling me that.
Of course it
You don't
would.
believe that.
Well, yeah, of course he would.
Bosa is a base defensive end who cannot drop back into coverage.
But Parsons,
Micah Parsons is a all-world linebacker and defensive end who runs a 4-3-5.
like I said,
Documented.
I need you
agree
to stop
with
letting Micah Parsons fuck on you, bro.
I agree with you.
Why did you have to say that? Bro, you gotta stop. First, you never used to say nasty work, and then I say nasty work, and now you say nasty work all the
I'm
time.
gonna say fuck on, get fucked on.
Now you're saying get fucked on, bro. You're a clout chaser. You gotta
That's
stop
my new
stealing
thing,
everybody's shit.
Get fucked on.
I'm afraid to come. Man, whatever I come up with next, he's gonna take it. Fucking gentrifier. But nah, he has to play hardball with the Cowboys. He's this generation's Lawrence Taylor as far as like versatility. And if he was playing on the Raiders, Pete would be on his hands and knees praying to God, begging for them to pay him, knowing that the Raiders wouldn't pay him.
Well, no, I agree with every single thing you said, except that he's astronomically better than Bosa.
No, but that's why
like
he's
the only
astronomically better because
He's
Bosa
not
can't drop in the
astronomically better than.
Wait,
He is better. He
impact,
is better.
not pass rushing ability. Those two different things. Pass rushing ability, if you just want a base defensive end,
Fitzpatrick,
yeah, give me Bosa.
Fucking Parsons also had to fucking bulk up to play full-time defensive end this year.
Yeah, but he
So-
did it and was an all-pro,
This year.
Pro Bowler.
This year, he's doing that this
He
year.
was great as a rookie, too.
He's doing
Did you
that
not
this
see
year.
his rookie numbers?
But what I'm saying is he's going to have his hand in the dirt a lot more this year. So it'll be a lot easier to make that comparison. First off,
he is a higher level prospect than Bosa was coming out of college.
okay,
Those
bro,
facts.
I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying, if I'm starting a
just telling
defense
you.
from scratch and
I'm
I
just
can
telling
pick
you,
one guy,
over the last 2
that
years,
dude's an alien.
over the last 2 years, Nick Bosa has 6 more sacks.
What was Nick Bosa's rookie year
6
numbers?
more sacks.
What was Nick Bosa's rookie year numbers?
He had
Please
9
tell me.
sacks.
What was Michael Parsons' rookie year numbers?
13.
And how many tackles?
Okay, but what's his fuck just left the Cowboys, and so he was pretty much the only person.
Who?
What's his name? I can't remember what it's called. Again.
What position did he play?
I think the point that I'm trying to make that you don't understand is Parsons is his position is changing again this year.
No, I understand it, but he's going to be
So,
like, he was an all-pro
for
at
you to
this
just-
position and a Pro Bowler at this position. Either position.
So we'll see.
You
If
got to
he-
pay
if
me
he-
for both.
If he has over 15 and a half sacks this year, then I'll agree with you.
I don't think he needs to hit 15 sacks.
If he doesn't have 15 sacks, then I
So
can't
are
agree
you
with you.
So if he has 13, 4 picks and 120 tackles,
He's never had a pick. Why would he have 4 picks?
I don't fucking know. He might.
And
he might
he's
change it.
dropping down. He's dropping back less. So he's not gonna have 4 picks.
Hey man, he might catch
That's
one.
just
out
what
the
I'm
game.
talking about. Pulling shit out of your ass, bro.
It's not, but
That's
you never know what
literally
Parsons-
just pulling out of your
Hey,
ass.
dog, how many interceptions?
You
did
just
Aiden
said he's
Hayden-
gonna have 4 picks.
I just threw out a random number.
Okay, like I said, I agree with you on everything, that he is better than Bosa, and he is more impactful, but I just don't think the gap is that large, is all I'm saying.
Oh no, I agree. With, like the gap is
You didn't agree with that though. You said he was
No.
astronomically better than him.
as a player, the gap's not.
You just
that
don't
far
like
off.
Bosa because he's a Trump supporter.
No, I would fucking have Bosa on my team in a heartbeat because he
Okay,
can fucking
I
ball.
don't fuck with Bosa either, to be honest, but like,
Money wise, Parsons is worth more money wise, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because production and position versatility.
Right now, yeah.
That's just the facts of it. Like,
that's how you're gonna build your team. I'm gonna build my team off productions. Because guess what? Those extra 6 sacks in the last 2 years.
Hey, draft better defensive ends. Draft better D tackles.
What are those extra 6 sacks mean, Kenny?
Nothing because you don't have a quarterback.
What does the extra 6?
Nothing because the Niners didn't have a quarterback. Nothing because the Niners didn't have a quarterback. And when they did have a quarterback, they still lost the Super
Kenny,
Bowl.
They went to the NFC Championship the last 2 years, which was farther than Dallas.
Lost. That's not Michael Parsons' fault. That's them fucking throwing a screen pass.
Did Nick Bosa even playoffs? I don't even think Nick Bosa played all 17, and he still had 6 more sacks.
No one's arguing his prowess as a defensive end, but he can't play linebacker at a high level.
Those 6 sacks set the whole offense back.
You know, Armstead is a Pro Bowler too, right? Fred Warner's back there too, right?
5-year, $170 million deal for Bosa. Touchdown and turnover.
It's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
And it's a touchdown for Michael Parsons and Brian Burns and whoever comes after them.
Period. Okay, Pete. Touchdown and turnover.
I'm going to say it's a touchdown because you got to keep him. He's your franchise cornerstone.
Of course.
Facts.
He's the best player on that team. He's better than Christian McCaffrey. Surprised he didn't say anything.
Moving on.
He is, though.
All right, take her tangent. Chris Jones continues to hold out into week 1.
I mean, their loss against the Lions is proof why it's a touchdown. Shit, literally. Like, just turn on the tape. Running in between the tackles, the pressure, the fact that Goff was able to dice him up. He stood in there and took a couple hits. Yeah, you really need Chris Jones. And even though Mahomes left some money on the table, like, you can't play with that man. Some people, you just pay them what they're worth and move on. Like, you don't play with Bosa. You pay Bosa what he's worth and you move on. You pay Michael Parsons what he's worth. You pay Lamar. You pay Joe Burrow. You pay Herbert, which honestly, some people might say, Herbert getting that contract, you kind of screwed the rest of the team because, now they can't pay anybody else, but that's not his fault. So, yeah, that's my take.
All right, next one.
Nothing.
Oh, I guess I didn't go. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. I mean, I think Kenny's right. Like, the proof was in the pudding today. The Chiefs needed someone to make a play on defense, particularly on those 4th and 1s, and
internal pressure.
They didn't have anyone. So, and honestly, like I talked about earlier, I mean, that entire defense has been through transition over the last 3 years. I mean, Chris Jones is really the only stable, and if he's not there, who do those guys look to? Who are they turning to?
Nick Bolton's cool, but that's not enough.
So, the Cardinals are expected to start Dobbs expressly after his trade-in in week 1.
It's funny because this
Baker Mayfield him.
It's funny because this was like breaking news, and I'm gonna start Clayton too.
I mean,
like once they traded for him, I was like, yeah, he's the starter.
Knows the system and stuff like that. Like they're literally Baker Mayfielding him.
He's a journeyman. I mean, that's why you trade for him. He can start. He'll move the ball. He can make plays with his feet. He's a genius. He's practically a fucking rocket scientist because of what he majored in Tennessee.
Sure, but he doesn't have any chemistry with the team.
U of T or just the Vols? I don't know. I still don't know what the fuck to call University of Tennessee.
I still don't know what the fuck is going on with Kyler Murray. Like,
he's not healthy to play. That's it.
I guess.
And he's untradeable because he's not healthy to play.
Yeah,
I guess. When did he get hurt?
Continues.
He got hurt like 75% way through the season last year.
And so he's just been hurt?
He tore his ACL 5 weeks left. I think at least a month.
Bro, people are coming back from ACL that fast.
No, they were trying to make the play. No, but he tore his shit.
I think he tore.
It was non-contact too.
I think he tore his ACL and his MCL and his meniscus.
He fucked his shit up.
So, like,
Still, bro, it's been 9 months and you're a quarterback. I don't know.
He's week to week though.
He's on the PUP list. The same way Von Miller was healthy.
They made him
but
a team captain.
So he's 4 weeks out for sure.
Yeah, at least 4 weeks, and then
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Von was on the PUP list.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. But Von's also 40 years old and plays defensive
Don't you
end.
disrespect Von Miller. Don't you disrespect my defensive end like that.
Don't.
But still, he's
That's the one.
He's a 10-year veteran and he plays on the edge.
He's a linebacker.
It's different than playing quarterback.
He's a linebacker who came out of college running a sub 4.5.
What I'm saying
he
is,
ain't never lost the speed or explosion.
What does that mean?
Means he's maintained his athleticism all this time.
It has nothing to do with athleticism. It has to do with the way you play defensive end. You're playing outside of your frame.
He's playing a linebacker who rushes.
You still got to play outside of your frame even more.
Well, that's the way their defense.
So that's what I'm saying is that takes a lot more toll on your knees and your ACL and your bend than dropping back and throwing the ball. Like
that man still got burst. Robert Quinn.
I'm not saying he doesn't have burst. What I'm saying is,
I agree. I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is that's a large toll for someone to take on their ACLs at 33 years old, 34 years old.
I'm just saying he's already torn his ACL
versus
before.
Kyler Murray's 27?
But his injury was more devastating. You gotta remember, Von Miller only partially tore his.
Kenny.
Versus a complete blowout.
Okay, Kenny. I honestly...
An ACL tear is an ACL tear.
No, it's not.
I think they're very different.
A partial tear is not the same as completely tearing all your ligaments in your knee.
As a Von Miller and Kyler Murray stan...
You have to be.
I love them both. I think they're very different situations and extremely...
And it wasn't a full blowout. It was an ACL and a meniscus.
That's so not more than a partial...
Not an MCL.
Not MCL, not PCL.
How bad of a meniscus tear was it, though?
Is your knee, is
a meniscus doesn't matter, bro.
A meniscus is the top of your knee, so that's practically MCL anyway. So it's both. It's both sides.
I mean, it also depends if there's nerve damage.
MCL's stability.
It's front and back.
Meniscus is just a pad, bro. You don't need a meniscus.
It's like your bursitis sac.
Meniscus adds 6 weeks to any injury. I know that for sure.
Sure,
that is true.
Sure, but even so, we're still at the timeline. What I'm saying is, you can still play with that.
I think Kyler wants to. It's not like he doesn't want to play.
They're not rushing him back.
He knows that his job is up for grabs. He doesn't want.
But is it? I mean,
he doesn't have a job anymore.
No, Kyler.
That's what I'm saying.
They cut Colt McCoy. They cut Colt McCoy for nothing.
So you think Dobbs is the answer? Is that
Dobbs is the bridge guy
because they're going. Dobbs is going to take Kyler Murray's job.
They're tanking.
Kyler Murray, the man who got how much
it's not his job anymore. They're going to try to get him healthy, see what he can do.
I know I'm biased, but there's
and then move his ass.
There's no way that Dobbs off of waiver wires is taking over Kyler Murray's starting job.
Because he's tanking. It's not his job. They are tanking. They tank their whole defense.
Do you think that's who Caleb Williams was referring to? The Cardinals?
It's the father, yeah.
When he said that if it wasn't an ideal situation, he was referring to the Cardinals?
Yeah, obviously.
I think he was also referring to the Cardinals, but that's only if Kyler Murray can't get his shit straight.
No, because if you they took Josh Rosen and then they took Kyler Murray the next year. So, in fact, he would just be getting Kyler Murray.
It's because the management at Arizona is just piss poor.
Terrible. Worse than Anna's Linens, and they're no longer in business.
Worse than a fucking Little League middle school team.
Worse than Anna's Linens, which is no longer in business.
I feel like
shout out to the city of Norwalk.
I feel like a fucking AI could manage that team better.
Honestly, you could probably auto draft.
My 7-year-old sister can manage that team better.
You could auto draft on Madden. I'm pretty sure my 2-year-old nephew would pick a better fucking quarterback. Bottom line is, just let him auto draft and it'll be fine. But the way that offensive line is, they took Paris Johnson. He's the left tackle of the future. You got to remember that. They took him high. So you're going to take a quarterback next. Or you're going to see what you have with Kyler Murray and trade him. Because there's really, if you're going to keep him.
And this is Von's second ACL tear.
Yeah.
He tore both knees, which is pretty common, actually.
That motherfucker is a freak
once you
of
tear an ACL, you're 60% more likely to tear the other one.
Because your other leg is rotted down by the recovery process of the other one. And then eventually it gives out. Yeah, it's the same thing with my foot. My right
boy Juju
I don't believe his knees exploding. I don't believe fucking any of those fake ass.
I think it's more of just
I was like, who is he, Bo Jackson?
I think it's more of just like one is stronger than the other, because when you come back, like you really do come back stronger and better than ever.
But the leg that has
but
been,
the other one that didn't happen.
Yeah, it gets weaker because it's all the weight.
It's more likely that athletes come back weaker.
No, it doesn't get weaker because you still work it out. You do both sides.
Once you break a bone,
strong.
Once you break a bone, it comes back more calcified and stronger.
I mean, okay. So
the nerve damage is where you get fucked up.
I know that this is a harsh comparison because whatever, so bear with me. But like, when I got like yonked by that car,
you said yonked. I'm sorry.
And I broke my femur, and like I tried to come back. I was slow, and my one of my legs is shorter than the other one. Like, I'm worse off in every single way, and I was never fast again. Like, I was never fast.
But what else did you break? Did you tear something too?
Well, of course, I tore a ton of muscles, but I broke my femur was the biggest part.
Well, yeah, the structural integrity of your leg is forever altered.
Like, my bone came out of my leg and everything.
Yeah, you had a hematoma.
Gross. It was pretty gross.
People die from that.
It was. I mean, it didn't even hurt like that, but like
because your body was in shock.
Yeah. For sure. But no, like I was slow as fuck when I came back. Like I tried to get back, but I was slow.
Yeah, I mean,
and my gait, like my run, was really fucked because one of my legs was weird, and so like I never got back. I was just bad.
But how bad was the nerve damage and the muscle tears?
The nerve damage
and the ligament damage.
The nerve damage is fine.
I mean, so technically, the
ligament damage?
The thing with the ACL is technically you can still play with a torn ACL.
I mean, Tajay Spears has no ACL in his knee,
and there's a lot of people that don't have ACLs,
which is fucking
weird.
I
tore my ACL and my MCL.
The problem is the stability.
Yeah.
At any time, your knee could just give out, and then because you're dealing with the other tendons being ripped or whatever is the case.
Yeah.
But in theory, I mean, you could play without the ACL. So,
but you had a horrific trauma, and you had a hematoma. That shit.
No, like
you don't undo
it wasn't
that.
Even all like that though. Like post recovery, it's not like I live in pain and I limp. Like I'm fine. It's just I'm not fast anymore.
Yeah, because of the trauma of an injury like that.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to compare myself to fucking NFL athletes.
No, but injury is an injury.
But I'm just saying, like I feel like it's not super common to come back better after your injury.
No, what I'm saying is the actual physical ligament is going to be basically a wire that's going to be stronger than whatever tendon was in there, because a lot of times it's already partially torn.
Yeah.
Slightly, maybe a little bit.
A hairline fracture.
And then something sets it off and it fully rips.
That's what my doctor told me about my leg, is that I probably had a hairline fracture.
But see, what they're learning now, and this is the newest science, is that before forever, the whole conventional theory was that they never grow back. Now they're learning they do grow back.
They do, yeah.
It just takes a lot of time and a lot of rest.
Yeah.
Which athletes really don't have time for.
Exactly.
But the point that I'm trying to make is, like, either way, I feel like Kyler Murray plays a position where he's able to push it more, especially if they're still making him the team captain and he's still, at least on paper, the franchise QB and the signal caller and whatever else comes with that territory. And he's a lot younger. Versus Von Miller, I mean, this is his second season-ending injury in a row. This is his second ACL. He's 34 years old. He's on the back end of his career. Like, he plays a position that he's essentially always playing outside of his frame. Right. Like, literally, his body is never just straight like this, and his torso is aligned with his knees. He's always like this or like this or like this or like that. And that's what makes Von Miller so great, is he's able to get that bend and turn that speed into power. So, like, for him, like, I would definitely take it slow. And the Bills have a deep defensive line rotation. They're like 8 deep on the defensive line anyway, so they don't need to rush him back. And really, I mean, they kind of brought him in there anyways to be more of a specialist and a mentor.
And a finisher.
Finisher, exactly, yeah. So it's totally different in my mind. I just think that, like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Kyler because they're saying one thing and then they're doing another. So I don't know.
Because you can't have him come back and like say, okay.
Because what if he plays good but the team still loses? Like,
is it his fault? No, because you traded away Isaiah Simmons and everybody else for fucking bubblegum. And you let Zach Allen walk.
He has some pretty good chemistry on the team. I think that is going to surprise some people. I mean, him and Marquise Brown, they played in college together, and they're getting the opportunity to reignite that.
But that's why even when we talked about it a couple weeks ago,
not fair.
Why did you trade for him if you were going to pivot away from Kyler in a year? Yeah,
I agree. That's what I'm not understanding, and I think it's literally just shit management. Is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And different visions. The GM too. And again,
that new
like
coach is laughable. Like
the Eagles defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach.
Yeah.
I'm like,
all right, last one.
I don't know.
All right, finishing out. Apparently the Bucs are refusing to trade Mike Evans.
Yeah, so the reports say that they've been getting a lot of calls about him. He has a lot of trade value, but they refuse to trade him. And it makes sense for where they're at right now. Like, they're still all aboard the Baker train, at least publicly. So I think sticking with Evans gives them a chance to at least see what he has. And then if shit goes astray, you can easily pivot away, trade dude away. Like, but if in that shitty division they come out hot, they start winning some games, you keep him, and then maybe you go back and talk about a new deal if he's willing to, which it doesn't sound like he is. So I don't know.
I think they're gonna make Godwin, since he already got paid, like the face of that offense. And you got Rashad White.
I just honestly don't even know like where a better spot for Evans would be.
Raiders
with a better quarterback.
Raiders, Packers. Bills.
He doesn't really fit the Raiders because
Bills.
They already have too much money at that position.
Bills.
I mean, I'll give you the Bills. That's a good one. But
Texans.
they don't have the money
Texans.
to bring him in and give him pay.
Colts. Texans.
I don't think the Colts or the Texans are that much better of a situation.
I mean, I'd rather have C.J. Stroud than Baker Mayfield.
I guess, but we haven't seen that yet. And not just that, but what if the Bucs are so bad they end up getting Caleb? I'd rather have Caleb than Anthony
I'd rather have
Richardson.
Mike Evans there.
Exactly. You'd rather have Caleb than Anthony Richardson or C.J. Stroud, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so
also,
I think that's also why it's kind of in his benefit to wait it out, but he's also not young, so
he's not waiting.
I don't know.
They're either going to pay him or he's just like, all right, get rid of me.
He hasn't said that. He said that, he's willing to play out the year.
Yeah.
They both are. They're both willing to play out the year.
They're willing to give him one more year, but
It's
if he ends
just
up with like
the
700 receiving yards, you're going to be pissed off. If Baker just doesn't
that's
throw
the
to
reality.
him.
That's the reality.
If Baker doesn't throw to him, it's like, bro, you ruined a Hall of Fame streak for no reason.
It's a reality. All right. Fair or fade. Mike McCarthy dons free Harbaugh shirt after number 2 Michigan downs East Carolina without the coach.
Wait, not
McCarthy, the Michigan quarterback.
that's J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy. First off,
Fair or fade?
That's a fade. First off, he did it. He did it. And he just happened to get popped. It's just really stupid. Like, this is the thing about college athletes I don't like. And also, I was a naive college kid once. Or I had I was invested into something in college once that wasn't as invested into me, but I didn't know it yet because I had to do some living first to realize what shit was really like. And I'm pretty sure 2-3 years from now, J.J. McCarthy will realize that was a stupid idea to wear that shirt and it wasn't that deep. So, it's a fade because the NCAA should have never popped him because way worse shit has happened. I mean, not to be a dick, but not everybody that Deion Sanders told to come to Colorado, their left tackle, I guess was a All-American at Jackson State. he's still not allowed to play. It's a couple guys who got lost in translation when they transferred to Colorado. Mikael Weidman, the receiver, this dude didn't get picked for the supplemental draft. He's just out of college eligibility. He's just fucked now. So, I mean, and even some guys who transferred with Lincoln Riley. Latrell, whatever, I forget his last name, but former DB, former corner, he transferred. So, like, there's just worse things than this. Like that.
All right, Duke QB Leonard goes viral asking his professor to extend his homework after a fairy tale win against number 9 Clemson. Professor responds telling him tough titty. Fair or fade?
It's fair. Because your O-line, he said your offensive linemen had their work ready. Actually, no, I take that back. Fuck that. That's a fade. Bro, I just beat Clemson. They were ranked 9th in the country. The money that they made off that game is more than your whole fucking salary. If you don't cut me a fucking break, like, for real, bro. I'm a quarterback at Duke. They're going to hype me up as the next Daniel Jones because I broke off a 30-yard touchdown run. Yeah, they're already calling him White Iverson or fucking whatever Daniel Jones's nickname was at Duke, but they're already hyping him up like the next great NFL prospect.
I agree, because isn't that a rivalry game too? Like, aren't they in the same state?
ACC, all the schools in South Carolina lost this weekend. The Citadel, South Carolina State, Clemson, South Carolina lost to North Carolina. Every school in South Carolina lost these past 2 weeks.
So yeah, it's not like he was playing just fucking.
He beat the 9th team in the country.
Coastal Carolina, like.
Yeah, I'm the fucking quarterback for Duke, and we dog walked the 9th ranked team in the country. You can cut me some fucking slack.
Okay, but remember what he said? Oh, well, all your linemen found a way to turn in their homework, and you couldn't?
Hey, man.
So why does he get special treatment?
I mean, I would have
because he's QB and he's watching twice as much film as a lineman.
I'm getting killed
and
out here.
Linemen are a group of 15 who all cheat and coerce.
So what
together.
So what would
linemen are honest people. Linemen are honest, hardworking people.
I'm not saying they're not. They know how to work smarter.
If Duke loses,
they weren't cheating.
If Duke loses, he still has to turn in his homework.
Oh yeah, if you lose, you got to turn that. You should have turned that shit in.
Define cheating.
Boo hoo.
Define cheating in college.
Define cheating
in college.
Cheating how? Like
exactly
in football or in like classroom?
Define murder. Killing
Anyways,
somebody, right?
We're spending too much time on this. The point that I'm trying to make is linemen operate as a system. So they're able to figure out means that other position groups may not have the luxury of having.
I would have gave the linemen
that's
credit
one of the benefits of flying under the radar. Now, for that teacher to throw the lineman under the bus, especially if he knows anything about football and realizes
that was dirty macking.
That the relationship between the lineman and the quarterback is sacred.
That's a rift.
Fact of the matter is, the lineman probably could have did the paper for the quarterback, and then that guy wouldn't have been any happier. So, what did you really want? At least he was honest and was like, bro, like, come on, like, I didn't get to it. Like, I had the biggest game of my life. Like, what do you want me to do?
Duke is a football school now. You're over here.
At least give him an extension, and if you got to take a fucking letter grade off, fine. Whatever.
No, like I would have just given all the athletes in the class an extension.
I would have honestly given the whole class an extension. We beat Clemson. Fuck off. Get fucked on. Get fucked on.
Yeah, if you
like, yeah, teacher, I got fucked on all night last night. Everyone was fucking.
I mean, if you don't turn it in by Monday, then I'm giving you an F.
There you go.
Because you beat Clemson.
All right, Chandler Jones.
Oh, God.
Rips the Raiders.
He's a health professor. You know
on
how easy that
IG
is?
after being locked out of training facility and being forced to work out at a commercial gym. The saga continued over the past couple of days. Team leaders like Max Crosby have been kind of like subliminally addressing the situation. They've been on record saying they're not distracted by it. Everyone's locked in. We're getting Malcolm Kuntz propaganda circulating on Reddit's Twitter.
I'm getting angry again. Now I'm angry.
Yeah, Jones is saying he's perfectly fine. They're trying to make him out to be crazy. They got medical health professionals pulling up at his house.
Bro, he dropped like 3 more videos.
Up at his house. He's just continued to post videos saying he's fine.
No, he dropped some shit like, y'all trying to spook me. Like, he dropped like 3 more today.
There's conspiracy saying that this is all happening because the Raiders are trying to finesse their way out of his contract because, in case you forgot, they redid his deal instead of 2 years and like $17 million each year. They kind of stretched it out over 5 years. So pretty much they're locked into him until he's like 37. But yeah, honestly, only thing I got to say about this is, one, if he's really like having a mental breakdown, like I really hope he gets help because like that's not good for anybody. Him, his family, the team, et cetera, et cetera. 2, this puts a lot more stress on Tyree Wilson, who looked pretty raw in his limited preseason action. I mean, he missed most of camp, showed some flashes, but he also looked lost. So now not only are you expecting him to contribute a lot faster, but you're also taking away another resource and mentor in the room that could help him, a player with similar build who can really help Wilson. And 2, dog, that's fucking John Jones' brother, man. Like, he will fuck you up, dog. Like, he will literally fuck both you guys up. Like, on God. So, like
you can't do him what you did to Michael Mayer.
You can't gaslight some dude who will really fuck you up.
Like, his whole family will fuck you up.
Like, period.
Him and his 2 brothers will fuck you up.
Well, yeah, man.
And live in New Mexico.
I don't know.
Compound in New Mexico.
I don't know. They live in Vegas. He's from Arizona. Who knows, man? Desert people do substances. That's all I know. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he has. But I'm just saying, I know enough desert rats to know that desert motherfuckers do drugs. So that's it.
I just want to point out, he got in trouble right before the Super Bowl, I think, one year, because he was naked or wandering around because he did some synthetic marijuana. You remember that story?
Kind of.
He got popped because he was doing synthetic weed, and he was fucking rambling around in his underwear or whatever. Who knows how long he was smoking that shit, if he even still is. And maybe, I don't know, like, hope he's all right, but there's also potential of when he said he wanted to have a talk with Antonio Brown and who was the other person?
Alden Smith. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Nasty work.
Hey, bro, see what I'm saying? He said nasty work again. I swear, bro. I'm living in a hellscape. Just surrounded by fucking musty Taurus energy. Musty male Taurus energy there.
All right. So I guess that's it. Rants really quick.
Oh, no, actually, I have one more. I'll save it for my rant. See what I did there? I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Kenny, you got to stop watching cable, bro.
I don't even watch cable. I haven't even watched TV.
Then what's up with you and all these fucking dramatic pauses? They're not cute. Nobody can see your facial expression when you pause. It just sounds like you don't know what you're going to say. Are you dramatic pausing right now? Nobody knows. We can't see you.
No, I
can see you, and I don't even know if you're dramatic pausing right now.
I'm just laughing at you for a second. And yeah, my eyes were open, so fuck you.
All right, go.
Been an interesting week. I'm excited because this Sunday I'm working my first slate of games. So it should be real interesting this weekend.
Be busy.
Gotta be a busy. And the Stanford game. It's gonna be a busy weekend. Just gonna take everything in stride and try to relax. Also, what the NCAA is doing with the receiver at North Carolina is really foul. The fact that this dude got hurt at one college, never played, transferred, and he tried to move. He moved back home to North Carolina to be close to his dying grandmother, and the NCAA still won't clear him. But you got cats with 7 and 8 and 9 years of college eligibility. This shit don't make no sense. NCAA's trash. Abolish it. Defund it. Throw all these dudes in jail for fucking racketeering and any other fucking mafia-related charge that can stick. Because Mark Emmett is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. All these people working at NCAA just fucking scumbags and scam artists. There's no reason why this dude shouldn't be. There's no reason why this dude shouldn't be eligible. Also, gotta say this. Shout out to Lenzini's Pizza and shout out to 90 West Lounge. Cool little bar right off the 90 freeway before you hit Lincoln. It's a cool little spot over in Culver City, adjacent the marina. And really good pizza. Like it's like a watering hole with really cool snacks. So dope. Shout out to them. I'm gonna definitely head over there a couple times and watch some games over there.
Nikki?
I don't have too much to say this week. I'm excited for Oklahoma and Texas A&M. I'm excited for another week at the Coliseum. We're hosting Stanford this week. It's supposed to be high attendance. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, well, I don't have a lot to say or add, but if you want, you can check out my Raiders offensive and defensive line previews on Full Press Coverage. Outside of that, always find my individual Raiders blogs on silverandblog.com. And then, yeah, man, it's been an interesting week for me as well. Short weeks always kind of fuck up my schedule. But just trying to find that balance, as always. One thing I am excited for this next couple of weeks is fantasy football is back. We at Touchdowns and Tangents co-opted a league with some of my other friends. And so we'll all be playing together. And then Kenny's also in another league with me and my friends, which we refer to as the Gay League. And then we also have another league with a bunch of my coworkers from back in the day. We all play FanDuel, but we also play season long every week. So there's both money to be made on a week-to-week basis and also on the season long side. So excited for that. And then lastly, I have a league with my current job, which is a bunch of his colleagues from his time across tech. So there's guys in there from Discord. There's guys in there from Apple. There's guys in there from all over the tech world. I missed the playoffs in that league, and that's my biggest, highest paid league. I missed the playoffs in that league by a tiebreaker. Shout out to Russell Wilson. So, yeah, I'm excited to not have a sophomore slump in that league. I feel like all my teams are pretty solid, even though Yahoo disagrees with me. But I think that's kind of what the gamble is. I mean, you either listen to these analysis and kind of take players where they're positioned, or you go with the guys that you want, you believe in. And I think it's more fun that way. Sure, you might miss, guys might get hurt, etc. But at least you're losing on your own accord, and not just because you're believing in analysts. Because the reality is, none of us even hold these analysts accountable. Like, when was the last time you tweeted Casey the football science or Matthew Berry, hey, you said this and this player was going to be good last year and they were trash? Like, that never happens. I mean, even the AIs and the algorithms, like, they only get it so much right. I mean, nobody expected Russell Wilson to have as horrible of a year as he did, or that entire Broncos offense, really. And nobody expected Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs to be in the top three at their positions, and they were. So, at the end of the day, it's all fantasy. It's all about watching football and talking shit. So, as long as you're doing that, the money's just kind of a bonus at the end of the year. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just Touchdowns and Tangents. You can catch us every week here, touchdownsandtangents.com, your favorite podcast app. We are on Twitter and Instagram, TDs_tangents. You can find us on your favorite podcast app. Shout out to FBC Radio. Shout out to Air Squad affiliates. And yeah, we're out. Peace.
Peace.